Welcome to the first live streaming Q&A session with My Amazon Guy. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Working on getting on LinkedIn connection built out. Stay tuned on that one, probably next week. If you didn't see my video earlier this morning on title conversion rates and all the conversion rates that go in on an Amazon listing, 37-minute full guide that we released on YouTube this morning. Highly recommend you check out. It's one of my most in-depth videos I've ever done. And it's really in-depth on conversion rates. And I talk about how I got a listing to a 42% conversion rate, which is incredibly high on Amazon. And it's my top selling wine glass. So you may find a lot of goodies in that. In our session today, this is going to be open mic, and by that I mean you guys can ask questions in the comment section. For those that are lucky to join early, you're going to have an opportunity to ask questions and get lots of personal time with me, whether you're a client at My Amazon Guy or you're just checking this Amazon thing out and not sure if you want to delve into the waters. This is your chance to ask any question at all about how you do things on Amazon. I'll tell you a little bit about kind of what we're up to at My Amazon Guy, as well as what I'm doing for those that are curious. So I am in the process of really going in depth on trying to become a stronger thought leader in the Amazon space, and I'm upping my game. So I've hired a company to build out thumbnails. I've hired a lot of experts to help me build this out. I'm getting a photo shoot done on Thursday. I've redone my backdrop, and these things are things that I'm working on so that we can help build out the message on how to grow sales on Amazon through a variety of means. So our agency at My Amazon Guy has been growing very quickly. We are now officially a 40-person agency. And I expect we may even double this year in terms of growth with clients because the action is so strong on Amazon. But it's very difficult to grow a business on Amazon. And so because of that, we put out a lot of content. I've got over 500 videos. And I hope that, some of the things that we do can help you overcome any challenges that you're having on Amazon. All right, so I'm going to post in the chat session here. Ask any question about Amazon, and we will be diving right into those as those pop in. So one of the questions I got this morning was from Vitrin Trading. They asked, Stephen, can you please forward me to a 3PL warehouse in the United States? I've asked about 15 warehouses, but everyone is full and do not accept more customers. I'm in an urgent need as my units are ready and the supplier is trying to get me to get my stuff out of his warehouse. So I do have a lead for you on that. We've been very much struggling on FBA prep centers and 3PL services, and that's because for the most part, they're just chock full right now. Amazon SKU limitations have exacerbated that problem, right? So they've made it so it's very, very difficult to ship all of your inventory into Amazon. And so it causes a chain reaction, right? So Amazon's full, therefore they send inventory out to the 3PLs. Well, the 3PLs are now full. And so you're going to struggle to find any available warehouse space right now. That means the costs are going to go up. That also means that the warehouses are probably going to have a lower service level offering and agreement. So the one lead I have for you is a partner that we've sent a few clients to, and it's called My FBA Prep. And I'll put that into the comments section. So My FBA Prep is a 3PL I would recommend checking out if you are in need of a 3PL. All right, so another question that I get is, what's more important, traffic or conversion? And this is kind of a loaded question because both are important. But on one hand, it's twice as easy to grow your traffic. Hey, Kali Park, appreciate you stopping by. And feel free to ask any questions, Kali, if you've got any. And we have conversion rates is much more difficult. Also, because Amazon has already solved for friction and anxiety on Amazon as a platform, it makes it harder to focus on conversion rates. But the 37-minute video I put out this morning on everything that goes into conversion rates is very much worth a watch on this question. And but the other side of the coin is traffic. And I think that it's twice as easy, maybe even 3 times as easy, to double your traffic rate than it would be to improve your conversion rates. And so I highly recommend focusing on traffic whenever possible. That means spend more on advertising, build out your search engine optimization, and everything that you can do to grow with your traffic generation. Whereas conversion rates, if you're trying to go from like 15% to 30% conversion rates, that's much harder than going from, say, 5,000 sessions a month to 10,000 sessions a month. It'd be way easier to go to 10,000 sessions. All right, so we got some questions here. Hi, Tessa. Thanks for being a first timer here. Appreciate you joining into our session. This is the first time we've ever done a live Q&A, so we're going to start taking some questions from the live audience. Please ask as many as you guys would like. I will stay as long as questions come in. Raul asks, do companies that do MF, which I think he means merchant fulfilled, exclusively do less business than FBA companies in general? If so, by how much? We have, let's see if I can show that on the screen here. We have a large warehouse and already do DTC, direct to consumer, shipping through our Shopify website. Raul, very great question. So if you asked me that question a year ago, I might give you a slightly different answer, and that would be that I think that FBA triples your sales. So if you have the Prime badge, you are going to be a lot better off. It improves your conversion rates as well as your traffic, because it gets seen by more people, and the people that see it are more likely to make the purchase. So if you have items that are a better fit for merchant fulfilled because they're just really big, or maybe they have, maybe it's like hazmat or another reason why you've chosen not to put them into the FBA facility, I would give FBA a very close look, because if you're not an FBA, you're missing out on sales. I guarantee it. But there might be a reason that you chose not to go into FBA. And if you want to write a follow-up question, I'm happy to dive into that. But I can absolutely tell you, you will get significantly less business by doing merchant fulfilled versus FBA, 100%. All right, so let's go to Collie Park with the next question. Any word about inventory limits being increased? This is the number one question I expected to get today. And unfortunately, there is zero word. There is absolutely no news on this question. Everybody I've been talking to behind the scenes is like really surprised that the inventory limits haven't gone away, including me. And I expect that we probably will not be seeing an announcement in February based on what I'm seeing. And I might be in the minority with this thesis, but honestly, I think that we will not see SKU limitations go away as quickly as I had anticipated. And that's because everything I hear about, which this kind of ties into my 3PL question I started with, the supply chain is still a massive wreck right now. It's chock full of goods. And so this is why you need to open your own warehouse in the United States. It's bottom line. It's not the answer everybody wants to hear right now, but that's the right answer. You need to open up your own warehouse. And if you're not scaled to a point where you can control your own destiny with a warehouse, I would recommend using a 3PL, but good luck finding one of those. Very, very difficult, which is why we kind of suggested go check out the FBA Prep Center. All right, so thank you, Collie Park, for that answer, or that question, rather. All right, so pulling up Logan's question here. Outsourcing, and forgot my earbuds, so can't really listen now. How often do you guys live stream? So this is the first time I have live streamed a Q&A. I am thinking about putting on a weekly Q&A session. Pretty much guaranteed that's going to happen. But I have not selected a specific time that I think would be the most likely to be viewed. It'll probably be like noon or 1 p.m., either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, because that seems to be when most people would be able to attend. But we will stay tuned on that question. We'll figure out what's the best way to do it. The nice thing about these sessions is after they're recorded live, you can go back and view them. They're uploaded and available for your viewing. All right, so let's go to Collie Park here again. I do merchant fulfilled and use ShipStation. So I'm a huge fan of ShipStation. I have several videos where I talk about how you automate ShipStation, your fulfillment, especially if you're using Amazon plus Etsy and Walmart. and these other platforms. And you can go in and build out very quickly an automated shipping for multi-channel fulfillment orders out of Amazon FBA for your Walmart, your Etsy, your eBay, even your website. So huge fan of ShipStation. Now, the one thing that ShipStation doesn't do is it doesn't sync your inventory. Now, if you're only doing merchant fulfilled, that may not be a problem to you. But if you're doing FBA, especially during the holiday season, that can be problematic, especially if you get a stock out, you get some constraints there. So yeah, big fan of ShipStation. I also use Sellbrite if you need an inventory sync. All right, so next question here we've got from Hamza Anwar. Sir, from where do we virtual assistant full course? Please, any suggestions? So that's a great inquiry. If you're trying to become better knowledgeable on how to be a better virtual assistant on Amazon, there is a particular program. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it is the answer to your question. I'm going to go through my LinkedIn messages on my other screen here, see if I can find it real quick, because I have a contact who runs that program and has had a lot of success. But basically, it very much does help your chances to get hired as a virtual assistant. And it's helpful if you have some sort of FBA training before you try and apply for these jobs. Like we are constantly hiring at My Amazon Guy. We have half of our business, or employees rather, in the United States. We have half overseas. Found the LinkedIn message I'm looking for, scrolling up to find the exact name of the company that has this program. We'll see if I can find this quickly. But in any case, it's very helpful if you have some training prior to going into work for somebody. Very, very, very helpful. Scrolling through a bunch of LinkedIn messages, trying to find the name of this. I might have to come back to you on that one. I'll check one more message here, but I'm a big fan of hiring hungry talent. So if you're looking for a job and you're overseas, you've checked out My Amazon Guy, please feel free to send your resume to jobs@myamazonguy.com. And we would be happy to see if you'd be a good fit for us. We're hiring, especially in advertising as well as catalog troubleshooting. And I did not locate the name of that course. I will get back to you on that. I will post that in the comments section for you. Sorry about that, Hamza. All right, so let's go to the next question. Tessa asks, are you mostly teaching private label, wholesale, or arbitrage? What's your favorite and why? Great question. I teach private label. And there are great sources to find wholesale or arbitrage. That's definitely not my cup of tea. So we actually recorded a live session yesterday with the wholesale model, Dan Metters, and I would recommend checking out his coursework if you want to go the wholesale route. Everybody who enters the Amazon space tends to start with like a small arbitrage test, though, just to get like their feet in the water, make all your mistakes on a small scale. So, for example, I did some arbitrage, like classic arbitrage, straight out of Target, the closeout sales, and it was very invigorating and a great learning experience. It taught me how to create shipments and go through and make a lot of mistakes that would be costly if done straight at private label. If you upgrade to the wholesale model following arbitrage, you could then go to various get-togethers with businesses and brands that are represented across the country in conferences, and try and place an opening order and just test it out further. I honestly, though, I think the reverse wholesale model, this is my opinion, I'm going to be outspoken on this, I think it's dying, and I think you got to get into private label these days, and that's because all the wholesalers know that it's in their best interest to represent their brand directly and not necessarily go through a third party. Now, probably a solid 40% of my business right now is coming from brands who want to go direct to consumer themselves, whereas they used to use a partner on Amazon. And so because I can see those trends, I like to think of myself as like the taxi driver of Amazon, right? Like I can see the trends just from people getting in and out of my taxi vehicle. And that very much is in line with that. Like we see a ton of brands trying to go direct to consumer and cut out third parties, which is why I think private label is the superior model of the three, but it's also the most costly and has the most risk. And that's because you gotta invest in your own products, and then you gotta build them out, right? And if you don't know how to market your own products, you don't know how to do these things, that can be very problematic. So of my 500 videos, I would predict probably 480 of them are about private label. to give you some perspective. All right, so we're going to Jeff's question next. Are brands allowed to file IPRs within Brand Registry against other sales without demonstrating test buys? The answer to that question is yes. Don't see how some are allowed to keep filing IPRs without a real basis. So I believe when you say IPRs, you're talking about the intellectual property infringement reports, if you will. And this is something that's become a really big bane, especially if you're selling as the the wholesale retailer model. Like if you're one of many sellers, you're at more risk for this. So if you're doing private label and you're the only person selling on your own goods, you're going to bypass a lot of these constraints and not have to worry about that. But yes, you can absolutely file without having test buys done. And it is still effective because as far as Amazon's concerned, if you're filing a report, you have a clause. Now, I've actually seen listings get taken down a lot quicker than I have in the past. It seems like Amazon is finally allowing brands a little bit more control, which is good if you're the brand, but not good if you're not the brand. So sorry if that affects you on that front, Jeff. All right, so this one this one comes in from my wife. She's trolling me here, guys. Thanks, Emily. So I'm a stay-at-home mom in search of passive income. Is Amazon a good option? And this is kind of an internal joke with me and my wife because we have 3 kids under 5. We have a 4th kid on the way, and we've seen a lot of like video advertisements for like, oh, you can just do Amazon in your nap time. Yeah, it'll work out. And that's just completely ridiculous. Like it's like really hard to sell on Amazon, right? And so like my content is built for people who are seriously engaged in brand building on Amazon. It is not built for the casual, aspirational, like, hey, I think Amazon's a good idea audience. Like, so that is not my audience. If that's you, check out now. But if you're serious about Amazon, I give hard hitting, like, here's how to upload a template file and like, very specific how-to tutorials. And if you're looking for retirement on Amazon, this is not the platform to do this because Amazon has become more sophisticated than it ever has been. The maturity phase of Amazon is at an all-time high, and you will find a lot of challenges that didn't exist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago on the Amazon platform now exist. Very, very difficult. Jeff, what's your current philosophy? Keywords can be anywhere in your listing and get equal juice from Amazon or more juice in title bullets and backend. Jeff, great question on this. So I strongly feel that you're going to get more keyword juice from your title than any other location. The first 5 words of your title can also set the canonical URL on Google. And so if you want your quick hack today, this is your hack. Put 5 words in your title followed by a hyphen, and that will set your Google canonical URL to get more clicks from Google because you set the keywords appropriately. So title has the most impact both on and off site of Amazon, followed by the search term field. And the search term field is the best place to put misspellings, Spanish, and common association. Make sure I have massive SEO guides. This is probably the area that my agency has more intel that's public than any other location in the entire world. I'm making a really fantastic claim right now, and it's probably true. We run multiple phases of SEO. And if you want a free SEO guide, I will put it into the comment section in a moment. This guide is an SOP to what we call phase 1 of Amazon. And all you got to do is come to this for a phase 1 guide SOP. I put it into the chat just now. So if you want my guide on how to set up phase 1 of SEO, we run 3 phases of SEO. Phase 1 is like the indexing. Phase 2 is we call the pink word update. I was on the Ad Badger podcast last week, and somebody said, yeah, it's kind of the Dennis Rodman of SEO, which I thought was the most hilarious comment ever left on one of my videos before. So thank you for that laugh, Mr. Dennis Rodman fan. But phase 3 is about strike zone update, and that's where you go chase keywords in the ranks 20 through 50 and try and push them up into the top 5, top 10 results on Amazon. So search term field would be the second most important, followed by bullet points, and then followed by anything in the A+ content. Now, Amazon is on record saying they do not index A+ content, and they are big, fat liars. They totally index A+ content, and I know this because I have put Spanish behind one photo in an alt text of an A+ content and totally index for it within days. So do set the 100 characters of alt text on every single photo. Make sure you have heavy amounts of copy in your A+ content whenever possible, because it will help you index for more products. It can be very, very beneficial. All right, Kali Park asks, what software are we using for this live stream? I'd like to know how questions pop up on the stream. So this is StreamYard, and I have been using StreamYard a full 24 hours at this point. I do not know much about it, but I have connected Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch to it, trying to get LinkedIn connected. But you have to go through an application process to connect LinkedIn into it. And in fact, I had to set up a two-step with LinkedIn as well to make that happen. I was recommended StreamYard by Roberto Blake. Roberto Blake is a big YouTube celebrity, and I actually took a coaching session with him on Friday, and we went through my channel, and he gave me a bunch of great tips. So I was really appreciative of that. All right, so M. Weiss says, from your experience using supplement brands, what makes the successful ones succeed? What are the biggest factors? I did a really great podcast with the gentleman who gave his Amazon journey story. And what I mean by Amazon journey is says, here's what I did to start my company from end to end. I'll have to put a link to that here in the comments section. By the way, I'm doing this stream by myself. I'm not assisted by an assistant. I am looking to hire a social media liaison to assist with these kinds of things. If you are that, please send your resume to jobs@myamazonguy.com. All right, so supplements, and I'm looking in Google right now. Dynamite interview is what I kind of titled this one. So it was with Mina Elias, and I found that interview to be incredible. So if you are in the supplement space, you need to watch this video. It will be very, very helpful in answering your question, M. Weiss, which is specifically, you need to be knowledgeable about supplements. Like if you're not the power user, if you're not the guy that like you are competing against Mina, who's a chemist, who is like an MMA fighter and knows how to like chop his pills and like get that special edge. And he's coming out with like new combinations of supplements. So that's what you're competing against. That's what makes you successful in the supplement space. We have a lot of supplements clients at My Amazon Guy, and it's the most difficult category. I do not recommend it for starters. High margin, but all of the bad actors are in that space, the Chinese especially. And you're gonna see Chinese hacking. You're gonna see listing yanks, and it's very, very challenging. So you need a very sophisticated team to run your supplements business on Amazon. All right, so let's go to Lou Hustle's total cost to go through you for Brand Registry beginning to end, $775. We have a trademark service offering. So the USPTO charges $275, and then we're tacking on a $500 fee. I have some great videos. I'm going to put into the comment section the link to our trademark service offering. You can get Brand Registry in under 7 days with us. We do not need the IP accelerator anymore. And we're very speedy. Like we filed more than 200 different. I'm actually see if I can share my screen here. All right, so yeah, I think this worked. So this is first time I've ever screen shared in a live stream. So here we go. You can see actual live comments from our YouTube channel where like look at Jerry's comment here. You guys literally did it for me in an hour and a half. So we filed this trademark in 90 minutes. And then he went over to the Brand Registry page. We did this for many, many other people as well. You can see these are like screen grabs directly from our YouTube and email channel. And we have a lot of FAQs on trademarks, like anything you need to know about, like what is a trademark and should you do a logo or design mark? This page has chock full of free content to answer these questions. And if you're going to file a trademark and you got a question, you can send an email to trademarks@myamazonguy.com. We will happily answer any trademark question you have. This is probably one of my favorite service offerings that we rolled out. That's a la carte, great for new sellers and great for sophisticated sellers that need to launch a second or third or fourth brand. Really, really great service to work with us without having to engage or send us like a Seller Central invite. Appreciate your question on that one, Lou. All right, scrolling through here. I skipped a bunch of questions. So I'm scrolling back up. Let's see, where are we here? Got a big queue, bigger than I anticipated. All right, so I'm just grabbing Glenn's question here. I'm gonna make sure I don't miss any. Glenn, has anything changed with Amazon monitoring fake reviews lately? Yes and no. So Amazon hates fake reviews. You saw the CNBC story come out in September where the news was all over this. Like they did like an in-depth 10-minute package story about how there's massive amount of fake reviews on Amazon. It was 48 hours later that they came out with the announcement that they were going to change their rules on how you do email interaction with your customers on Amazon. And I am confident those two things were connected. They have disappeared massive amounts of fake reviews in general. They also, what was it, like 30 days ago, came out with an announcement on the product inserts, right? So if you have a product insert that asks for a review, you are going to get a very big challenge or problem, because they actually started sending notes that you're going to have to remove your inventory out of FBA. And that when you remove your inventory out of that FBA, you would have to remove your product inserts and ship it back in. So I think that's the biggest change, Glenn, in the last 30 days. I'm not aware of like any specific policy changes or anything outside of product inserts, but do know that Amazon very much hates fake reviews, and they are aware of all the gamings of the system. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when they will do further crackdowns. All right, Josh asks, what shipping forwarder do you recommend? My supplier in China requires I get a forwarder. Should I look for a forwarder in China or the United States? This is a great question. I actually asked, so I use a guy out of Pakistan. His name is Mo, and he sent me 3 that he recommends. So I pulled up my Gmail here. Lucky International, Boeing International, and Feitong International. I'm going to put these 3 into the comment section. These are the 3 that he recommended. And what he tends to do is directly reach out. So I just posted the comment on this one. Directly reach out to these freight forwarders and ask for direct quotes. Do not use an aggregator. Do not go to a website that gets aggregated costs, because your cost will be significantly cheaper if you go get a direct quote. So yeah, Josh, I would recommend one of those 3 just purely because the guy I used out of Pakistan for sourcing really knows his stuff, and he would not send those unless he thought they were good. All right, so let's go through the comment section. We got Glenn Johnson asking, have you known of anyone actually being suspended for good for chasing fake reviews? Almost every product is over 4.3 stars these days. So I have probably personally been involved in 100 suspension cases or thereabouts. The rate of getting accounts back is pretty high. You would have to be a really bad black hat actor for them to not give you your account back. You're going to submit a plan of action. You're going to tell them what you did wrong, and you're going to tell them how you're going to not do that again. And then you're going to be on your merry way, usually within 72 hours. If you have multiple accounts, that's the hardest one to solve for. We do have a listing reinstatement service, as well as a suspension service. If you've got like a serious issue you need help with, we charge $1,000 for it. It actually takes a lot of effort, which is why it's such a substantial rate to help on those situations. But what I would say to you is review generation has never been harder. 1 out of 100 orders will lead to a positive review. And if you use email, 40% of people have opted out of seller emails. Might be higher nowadays, might be even 50 now. And the request a review button also can be beneficial, but we have tested it and have not found conclusive data that it increases your review counts, though many other sources have tested it and found that they do increase. So it's a little bit of a small amount of effort to get reviews. So something I would check out. All right, so let's go to M. Weiss. Thanks for all the great info. I have a lot of experience in private label and selling on Amazon. I always still find good info here. Also, the way you deliver your content is very entertaining. Well, thank you. You made my day. I do not find myself to be an entertaining individual, but I am absolutely working on that. I used to be a television reporter for 2 years, which helps with some communication aspects. But I don't know if I have a funny bone. I really don't. So thank you for making my day. All right. Pratik asks, I'm new to Amazon. What's the deal with selling oversize? Is there a particular limit you're allowed to keep in mind when ordering your first shipment? So I think you're talking about the actual unit box size. And if you are, I will give you the correct answer. If I'm not, ask a follow-up. But basically, once you hit a certain oversize, and you can see an oversize chart on Amazon FBA, Amazon FBA oversized chart. Like I'm Googling that right now, see if I can find a good resource on that. and I believe I did find it. All right, so we'll put that in the chat there. So standard size is anything with 18 inches on its longest side, 14 inches medium, 8 inches shortest. And I believe it goes to oversize small when something goes over 30 inches on its median, 60 inches on its large. And then after that, it gets pretty large pretty quick there. So the challenge is storage and shipping costs, right? So like if I was going to ship this wine glass, you would be looking at $3.50 to ship this because it's under a pound and it's under 5 by 5 by 5. But when you do oversized goods, it's a lot harder to ship those items into the FBA facility and get them out. And that's where your challenges are going to come in mind with oversize. But what I would say is that you probably want to have a 3PL in place to store some of your goods before sending them into Amazon directly, especially with the SKU limitations. We talked about that. I think it was like minute 5 in the live stream. And so you can go back and review kind of some of those conversations there. But basically, long story short, oversize is not the first item you should do when you're new to Amazon, unless you've got extremely specific product knowledge in whatever space that might be, right? So for example, if you're Mina in the supplement space and you're a chemist and you understand like that supplement space and whatever the equivalent to that is with the oversized good, then safely proceed if your knowledge will override any of the costs involved in doing oversize. All right, let's scroll down to Pratique asks, furniture category, particular certificates needed or restrictions? Actually, I'm not aware of any. We do have a furniture clients, and I've never once seen any restrictions. Now, we have seen pillow sheets and other related bedding get flagged for pesticides, which is, of course, absolutely ridiculous. But we have not seen anything hit like, I don't know, jewelry armoires or tables or desks or anything like that, chairs, nothing. No certifications needed whatsoever. There are probably some exceptions to this. Maybe toys or kids furniture that might need some like safety protocols and documents on that, but I'm not knowledgeable on that particular question. Though I used to be helping Nilo Toys, and they had to get some child protection documents at some point. But it's been a couple of years since I've worked on that account. All right, Brett at FBA Excel. Yo, Steven, saw a video of yours where you said you don't include commas in search terms. I saw a video on Heist channel, and he uses commas to separate into exact phrases. I'm trying to test at the moment. Adam Heist is a big fan of us. He probably is going to watch this video, and he will probably agree with me in the comments. Adam, feel free to disagree though. But you should absolutely not be using commas in the search term field. I've got a decade of SEO experience. Amazon's SEO is particularly unique, and your goal with SEO on Amazon is to get the most indexed words you possibly can on Amazon. And if you want to get indexed words on Amazon, you need to limit your comma use because each word in the 250 characters field will combine with each other. If you're using commas, you're telling Amazon to truncate that and to use very specific word-by-word choices, and that will not get you as much traffic as it would otherwise. So this is an example here. So if you go to our SEO page, phase 1, right here, where we specifically say, do not use commas, remove the duplicate words, and you do this because the word hair in this particular example is, if you use it one time, it'll combine with the word growth, serum, treatments, and you don't need to go hair growth, hair treatments, comma in between of those. You just use the hair one time, and then the rest of the series will combine with everything in that series. All right, so scrolling through the next comment section here. Let's stop the screen share and go to Shauna. Is it recommended to open a seller account before registering your brand? Actually, no wrong answer on this one. So Shauna, if you're thinking about building out a brand, but you're not like ready to sell it, I would say it's safe to go ahead and file your trademark. Hopefully you choose my Amazon guy to do that. And it's also safe to register your brand on Amazon. You do not need to be an active seller of your item to register your brand. And the benefit to maybe doing that might be you've got a brand name that you want somebody to not steal before you go to market with it. And that might be why you want to do that. The other reason you might want to do it is because sometimes it takes like 20 days to fix brand node ID issues. And so if you do it well before you're selling your active item, I have like 10 videos on brand registry problems. Like every error code you can imagine, we've got a video on brand registry issues. And so sometimes it's nice to, file your brand registry and not have to worry about that affecting your live sales. So that's why I would probably err on the side of filing brand registry early, but there's no critical reason beyond what I've stated. So it's okay to do it, but you don't have to. All right, let's go to Jerry M. So easy. Thanks again. We're currently working on our website and logo and value your information always. You're very welcome, Jerry. And I think that is either a chicken or a hawk on your elbow there. That's cool. That's a really cool shot. All right, so let's scroll down. So Andre says, when do you think the 200 limit will be lifted? March 1? So this is the second time we've had that question in the comments section, and I unfortunately do not know the answer, and I do not think it's coming March 1. I think what we'll see is, if anything, they'll go from 200 to 300 in select categories or 400 in select categories. I think this might stay. I think this might be here to stay, guys. Not the answer you want to hear, but based on what I'm seeing in the supply chain, it's a huge mess. So I answered this in about 4 minutes of details earlier in the stream, so feel free to hit rewind on that and check it out. Jeff Fink, any recommendations for PPC management software? All right, so this is a great question. First of all, I think humans and manual are better than PPC software, but there are many good PPC softwares out there. Now, we use what we call mag ads, which is just my clever play on words for MAG. Let's see if I can point to the right spot. MAG. My father was a weatherman. He knew how to do green chroma keys, and I never picked that skill up. I'll have to learn that one. His name is Dan Pope. He's actually the sales manager at my Amazon guy now. He works for me. It's really kind of cool to have a father work with me. But my favorite PPC automated softwares are probably AdBadger, Helium 10, and Celix. And AdBadger had me on for 4 podcasts, and so I've had a lot of time working with their leaders. They are good people. They've built a good product. And anytime I'd be like, oh, I wish Amazon could do this, he'd be like, well, I've solved for that with my software. So that's why I'm giving him a plug. Also a big fan of Helium 10 in general. We use them as our number 1 software of choice at large for anything related to keywords, tracking information, all that good stuff. We're also an affiliate partner of Helium 10. And you can get 50% off your first 2 months. If you haven't checked them out yet, I'm going to put a link to that in the comment section for 50% off Helium 10 2 months. That's actually the largest and best offer they've ever given out. They just started doing that last Friday. So give them a whirl if you haven't checked anything out. But when in doubt, manual is still needed on PPC, and that's because manual, you have the ability to build campaigns, and I really haven't seen effective robot campaign building. So let's say you're spending, I don't know, $10,000 a month. If you're spending $10,000 a month, that's when I'd say like automation may be worth paying for, because it does bid management and it goes through and like automates the bidding changes. Like that's what I think automation does really well at. What it doesn't do anything for is like, hey, if you don't have a video ad up, Jeff, that would be the best thing you could do. Like if you're looking at PPC management software and you haven't got a video ad up, like change your focus, go get video ads. Like that would be way better use of your time and money. Display ads. If you don't have display ads up yet, that will also be a better use of money than paying for a PPC automation software. So definitely recommend that before you go down that path. Andre asks, what do you think about the shipping prices will be cheaper? Not entirely sure what you're asking here, but what I would say is that Amazon's fulfillment costs are going up. You will see storage costs go up in June. They delayed that from January. And I was actually just on a client call right before I started the live webinar where they were having to pay, $13, $14 for priority mail with the United States Postal Service, and they sold shoes, and that was a pretty high rate for them. And we were actually pretty surprised. We're actually looking at trying to get them connected in with their local rates. So like if you haven't connected, here's another hack for you guys today. If you haven't connected your UPS or your FedEx account into Amazon Seller Central, I recommend you do that. It takes like 5 minutes and you'll get an edge on your rates to potentially make them cheaper. I actually have somebody on my team who's going to shoot a video on that. We'll probably post that in the next 48 hours. but I don't have that one ready quite yet. All right, Tessa says, do you have a service or know somebody who can reconcile products and returns? My accounting guy is Tyler Jeffcoat of Seller Accountants. He is the #1 person I go to for all of these questions. I'm going to put a link to him for reconciliation. And I got to figure out how to spell reconciliation. Hopefully I didn't typo that. But I would get in touch with him. Just let Tyler know that Stephen Pope sent you his way. We send a lot of clients back and forth. And no money ever exchanges hands between me and Tyler on that one. But he just attracts really good people, and I'm a big fan of what he does. So if you're looking for any sort of outsourced CFO needs, reconciliation, he is the guy I would recommend talking to. Now, one other plug I will make, we have a service called My Refund Guy. And My Refund Guy is an automated way to get clawbacks out of Amazon. And it's a first $500 are free. So let me put in here clawback service. I'm putting this into the chat so you got a link, and I'll share my screen here. And this system is a commission-based add-on service that we offer. We use a third-party partner for this, but basically it's got a dashboard. It'll go through like every return, every lost, damaged item you possibly have had on Amazon, and it will automate that. And we use a cost-effective team to make that happen. The cost of this software is 25% commission rate, and we go in, for every $4 we get you back, we charge you $1. So I definitely recommend that as well, but that would be only specific for clawbacks. So lost damage units, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't run this before, there's probably hundreds, if not thousands of dollars you can claw back. So it's definitely worth doing. All right, let's go to the next question. So here we go. Hello, Gaswitz. Will you talk about if Amazon cares or verifies the business address versus legal address? I want to change my account from personal to my LLC, and I'm concerned about my account being suspended. I don't think there's any account suspension risk on this one. Go ahead and proceed with it. You could always send a ticket to Amazon and basically say, hey, I'm going to make this change. Please don't be alarmed by this change. And that way you tell them in advance. That could be one way to get around that. But they made it so like they're doing postcard verification mailings. So even if you're not like worried about this today, at some point in time, you're going to get a postcard mailing to verify your address. Like all accounts are going to go through this probably this year. So whatever you do, don't put a fake address. Make sure you get access to the mail to that address. That's the #1 thing I would say. Part of the reason people are talking about addresses of their business on Amazon is because Amazon now publicly releases your seller address that consumers can now track you down and find you, which is obviously a lot of privacy concerns and a lot of problems around that. So something to keep in mind. All right. So the one downside to me running my own comment section here is that is that sometimes it just goes to the wrong spot. So, all right, I think I'm back to the right spot. So Dominic says, good morning to you as well. It's 1:40 p.m. here in Atlanta, Georgia. Dominic, feel free to let us know where you are. Andre asked, magnets for fridge, particular certifications needed or restrictions? I'm not aware of a single restriction on that one. I think that's a safe add-on item. Dry flowers and herbs, particular certificates needed or restrictions. This one might be a little bit more tricky only because of the weird China seed thing. I do not have any active clients that sell this, so I'm not knowledgeable on that one. I do not know the answer, Andre. You could always ticket and ask Amazon ahead of time on your seller account. Never know, they might give you the correct answer. Seller support is really poor on Amazon, but sometimes they come through for you. Glenn Johnson asks, is there a way of working out how many products a competitor may be selling? Something like a specialized website. Actually, yes. So I use Helium 10 for this. So you can go through on Amazon and look at the list of any particular products or a seller. You could go into the store that the seller has. That's probably like the quickest thing to do. So like, let me share my screen. I'll walk you through this one. So if you just go onto Amazon, just type in like, whatever brand name. Dude, I hate this autocorrect issue I have with my own brand name here. It's the biggest pain in the butt. I ticket to them all the time and they still don't fix my autocorrect. Like I have a ticket going in like every 3 days to Amazon. All right, so we're going to go to a random product of mine. I'm going to click on the Soul Bite Momster. And then in here in the product section, this is the list of all of my items. So if you're wanting to know like how many items that a specific seller is selling, go click on the sold by seller name. Here you go. You can rip off every item that I sell right here. That's how easy it is to do. All right, so let's go to Andre. Housewarming gifts with positive text on them. Can I use PPC on them, or are they banned? Anything gift related is pretty safe, my friends. I do not think I've ever seen anything banned unless you are talking about something like promoting alcoholism. So I do have some wine glasses that are like, hey, you need to drink a wine, something like that. That will get banned from advertising. I think that's a silly policy on Amazon's part. I don't agree with that policy, but we've seen it. We've also seen Christian t-shirts get banned because they talk about Jesus. I don't care what your religious beliefs are, but man, I wish Amazon would operate a free market where you could talk about whatever you want and sell whatever you want. But they are absolutely getting into anti-Christian territory at this junction. So just keep that in mind. Andre asks, why to use classic PPC instead of video PPC? I have a trademark. And that's because videos are, I would get a video animated for your PPC because they have really high click-through rates and lower costs compared to some other products in sponsored products. You will gain more conversions and sales. That's why I recommend video ads. Tessa asks, Amazon keeps sending me an emails to sell globally. What's your thoughts about it? Do you sell globally? Would you recommend it? Oh, this is a good topic. No, I do not recommend it. And I will lose some business by saying this because there are some of you who would probably hire me to run your global business. But right now, I just don't see it. I think that Brexit, European issues, and the fact that all other markets outside of Germany, United Kingdom are just really small markets right now, I'm not a fan of them. Japan's been around for a long time, but it's not happening. They opened Singapore, Australia, the Middle East. There's all kinds of countries that are open for business. If you're at $100,000 per month, so you've become a 7-figure seller on Amazon, I would say maybe consider it. But if you don't have like Canada going, do Canada first. That's the easy one. Then do Germany, because Germany's the hottest market in Europe. Then the United Kingdom, in that order. Until you have all 4 of those going, do not touch any other platform. No Australia, no Japan, no Singapore, no Middle East, no India, or any other one they end up coming out with this year. The reason for that is because it's just going to increase your sophistication. Now, there are many good resources on how to sell internationally. And there's some opportunities. You can check out some resources about that, but maximizing e-commerce is probably where I would send you to learn about international. Glenn Johnson asks, are transparency labels with Amazon purses worth the price? Is there any downside? So I would say the only reason you would need the transparency program on Amazon is if you are selling an item that's being hijacked, ripped off, or you've got other people showing up on your listings. I would not recommend the transparency program otherwise, because it's just a lot of time you're going to commit. It's like throwing on another label and tracking components. And so it's just a lot of effort with the only gain is to prevent hijacking. All right, took my first water drink, minute 47. Okay, Jerry asks, can we showcase products under our brand store that are not under Brand Registry? This is a great question, Jerry. The answer is yes, you actually can. We have several clients who are brand building. One of them is Hungry Fan, and they would probably love me to talk about them. And I will share my screen. So this particular brand is built out on tailgating. And so when they don't sell something themselves, like they're showcasing American cornhole products, they do not sell that. This is not their item. But because they're going to investors and trying to build a brand on tailgating, cornhole is a great tailgating item. Now, almost everything else here you see on screen is theirs, with some minor exceptions. And so, yeah, great question, Jerry. Here is living proof. Go to amazon.com/hungryfan, and you will see the proof of that. All right, scrolling down to Glenn Johnson. How far back will Amazon refunds for overpayments you have made go back to? Probably about a max of 1 year. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull that down to 6 months if they haven't already. But definitely make sure you do your clawback once a quarter. That's what I would say there. So my lovely wife says, listening while picking up the kids, they ask, can Daddy hear us? Unfortunately, Hunter and Bruce, I cannot hear you, but I hope you had a good second day at school, and I appreciate the support, my lovely wife, Emily. Brett at FBA Excel writes, do you know if private label sellers can sell made in China products on Etsy? Yes, you can. I have done it myself. I know many that do it. Etsy is supposed to be handmade, but they are becoming more corporate and are loosening, or at least they're falling through the cracks. Let's go with that. You can definitely sell non-American made stuff on Etsy. Now, is that the right thing to do? I'll leave that to you. But yes, I chase the sales wherever I can get them. All right, scrolling down here. Wow, the questions just keep coming. This is great, guys. Lungo says, hi, Steven. Should we worry about Chinese seller taking the market? How better to fight with them? This is a fantastic question. I feel very strongly about this one. You should be afraid of the Chinese. They are going to fight tooth and nail to take you down. 100%. I have seen more hacking from the Chinese in the last 6 months than I ever thought possible. I also think the Chinese have other geopolitical agendas within the United States. But let me take off my conspiracy hat on that one. And I think Amazon is selling out to China. And I also think that a lot of the service providers are selling out to China. As South Park would say, we're sucking on the teat of Amazon, to just say it frankly. So yes, you should be very afraid. The way that I would combat this is to make products in America. Now, I have failed at making this happen. I have a personal aspiration to open up an American-made manufacturing plant. I have money in the bank that I'm sitting that I would love to just invest in a manufacturing plant, gain vertical control. If I could make wine glasses from sand, I would be doing it right now. I just am clueless. I have no idea how to do it. And so I've been putting out my network feelers. I joined the Jordan Manufacturing Alliance. I've been talking to Made in the USA, like all of these American-made groups and programs. The problem that I found is that most American manufacturing is B2B, business to business. No B2C manufacturing realistically exists in mass in the United States right now, and that's a problem. And so as we have trade wars with China, I think inevitably we're going to see manufacturing come back to the States, but it's not happening yet. It's not happening yet. It's overdue. I think it will happen. I think that for those that solve this problem ahead of time, they will be way better off than those that wait until the last second. So I am trying to solve that personal aspiration of mine. But there is nothing you can do. If your goods come from China and you're competing against China sellers, you eventually will lose. I guarantee it eventually. Glenn Johnson, does your clawback deal with Amazon UK? I think it does, Glenn. I think it does. You can try and connect it. I think it will let you. That was a new thing I think they developed in the last 4 months, but I'm not 100% on that. That was for my refund guy, for those that aren't sure. Jeff Fink asks, current philosophy on product launches, AMZ, PPC centric, or PPC, SFB, ManyChat, influencer, et cetera. Curious where you're seeing these best ROIs. So my agency, I'll put my hat back on. We have hung our hat on being a 10 out of 10 bestseller central agency. You are going to need to engage in additional agencies to run ManyChat, influencers, and external traffic into Amazon. Last year was the big changing of the guard that you had to have external traffic to go to Amazon to be successful. However, I am not actively driving external traffic to my personal brands, nor do most of our clients at my Amazon guide. I think it's important. There are some ways that you can do so without risk. I would highly recommend that you run the retargeting, remarketing, and a PPC options in display targeting within Seller Central. So you now have the ability to target people off of Amazon within Seller Central. So you don't need to do DSP or that platform. I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if you go in here and you click on create a campaign, and you can see like on the right-hand side, you see the sponsor display section. So hit continue on that. My account has some special things that not everybody has access to, but you can see in the audience section. So views, remarketing, searches, and purchasers. These are things that are hitting external traffic, people off of Amazon, bringing them into the Amazon platform. At bare minimum, I would recommend you do these things. As for the external traffic, I think it's a good idea. I got an email from somebody today that told me that they got burned with their own search find buy, where they got deranked. We saw starting in September, there was a potential algorithm update where people started getting deranked for running external traffic to gain keywords. And so I would just say, be very careful on that, Jeff. You probably will see some further changes here. and you're going to have to be very agile. So often the case, I will tell people, be reactive to Amazon policy changes. This is probably one where I would say I would be proactive on. I would be very careful on what you do, because you will see Amazon make an update and all of a sudden your rankings are just going to be blown away. All right, Colleen asks, just placed my first order for textiles from India. How do I know where they send the fabric? What warehouse? Most sales initially will sell in Canada. So I would say you will find out where the shipment should go after you've created your first FBA shipment. It will tell you where the location to send it is. You have no control of where this is. Usually on new seller accounts, they'll send everything to one fulfillment center. As you scale and grow, they may send it to 3 fulfillment centers across the country, depending on the item type, the category, as well as the geo ordering of that type of item. So if you're selling, if you're in New York, but you see more action in California, they will probably have you ship it into a California warehouse. So you will not know the answer to that until you create your shipment. So Colleen, I would say go create that shipment. Kevin asks, any insight on the 200 unit limit for new ASINs? So this is the third time we've been asked this question in the comment section. No, there is no change on this one. Unfortunately, will not be removed anytime soon as far as I can tell, unfortunately. Glenn asks, we have a new product coming through, which because it's unique needs to be demonstrated. Is it possible to come with new product showing it on video on our product page? You need videos, like you absolutely need videos. Even if it's like a cell phone, just you talking with your product and be like, here's what's really cool about my product. Amazon's an iterative platform. Maybe you can't be perfect on launch. Maybe you can't do everything when you first get everything set up, but you absolutely need to be doing this. So get some video up. All right. Andre says, thanks for your help, man. You're welcome. Jeff says, do you feel H10 is accurate as it relates to your brand sales figures? It's usually within 10 to 20% accurate. Found it pretty accurate, actually. It does not calculate the multiple child variations accurately, however. No tool does. Glenn asks, will it really make a difference if you manufacture a product in the USA? And I think the answer is yes. I strongly believe that. I'm passionate about that question. And I think the consumer sentiment is going to be very patriotic. Nationalism is going to grow over the next 5 years in this country. You will see it, mark my words. But it's very difficult to make it happen. I know what I'm saying is ridiculously hard. Dominic says, great question. Patrick says, how can you prevent Chinese manufacturers from stealing your idea when you're creating your product? You absolutely can't. Intellectual property is useless in China, although I have seen many legal experts that will disagree with that question. But from my experience, the product lifecycle on Amazon is 2 years. Is what it is. Nothing you can do about it. Just keep making good products and keep iterating. Ali says, when Amazon will lift sending restrictions? 4th time. Sorry, we don't know. Probably not in the next month. B. Stein, thoughts on Pinterest for marketing? Interesting. So I sell funny wine glasses. I'm the #1 funny wine glass seller on Amazon. Pinterest should be right up my alleyway. I tested it out. I have not been able to prove whether it's effective as compared to Amazon advertising. So I've only run a few $1,000s in spend though, but I would say if your customer is Pinterest audience, 70% female, then yeah, I would test it out for sure. Zach says, do you know about the IP fights? I'm selling a well-known product in Europe and have been having thousands of reviews, registered brands on several ASINs, 50 plus other sellers selling similar products. I am familiar with IP fights, but it's not a fun one to deal with. You're going to have to file lots of tickets. Zach, I don't have time to give you an in-depth answer today. One German seller submits his product as an invention. German patent office within 2 months. Differs from mine for the most part, but Amazon has removed my listings. You need a patent attorney, my friend Zach. Hire a patent attorney. Do you have a live video for your product to interact with customers live? I will happily do that, Glenn. Go watch my SEO video I posted this morning. Where I talk about all the things that affect conversion. That's as close as I have at the moment, Glenn. Charles asks, we are selling a seasonal product. It's going like crazy. All of our PPC campaigns are going nuts with 5 to 10% ACOS. What should we do to take advantage of this? We've already raised our bids and budget. Raise your prices and raise your prices again. And if you're having that great success, you have a good problem on your hand. Make sure you take advantage of margins where you can. I had a coaching session with Advanced Supply on December 2nd. I told them to raise their prices. They made an extra $100,000 in the month of December, and they're on camera telling me this. I actually posted it to my channel because it was so nice to get that kind of feedback. Running out of time here. I'm going to be ending the stream here in 60 seconds. Zach, my ASIN has 1,000 reviews. We were the first to sell this product on Amazon. We are beyond catching. So that's good to see. Reviews will definitely help you. And thanks. It's not a case for a simple Q&A. You're absolutely right, Zach. We should probably talk more. You need a patent attorney. No questions about it. That is our stream today. Please hit that subscribe button. We will hold another one of these. If you want to leave a comment on like when you think the best time to hold the live Q&A, I would be happy to do that. Thanks for sticking around. You can reach me at podcast@myamazonguy.com.